Um, okay. Ready when you are.
Okay, so this Q&A session is regarding the newest update that happened in game.
Great.
I believe it's version 0.997.
Yep.
And then let's see. I'm going to start with one of the questions a lot of the players asked about was why it was released so early, I would say. And no patch notes were released as well when it was when the update hit the live server.
Yep. Thanks for that question. So I think two things. I've got Vincent here with me as well. So the first question is why do we release the client patch before a lot of the contents are ready to go out? So the goal is to avoid interrupting the tournament finals. So we had a launch window for the client because we have to link up all the cross-platform releases on one day, and we scheduled this quite a while in advance, about a month in advance. We've scheduled this release window because it's kind of 2 days before the tournament starts. We had a discussion in the team, mainly with Vincent and Tom A, and group consensus is, and with CM managers as well, like yourself. We decided it's better to not interrupt the tournament finals with new mechanics, but we've got the client and the server ready to go. So when we finish the tournament finals, we can roll it out straight away. I think that's gonna overall be a better user experience. In the future, we'll try to do the client updates around the start of the month as well. So that's noted. I think for our next big feature, it's also towards the tournament season, but any future ones we'll schedule towards the start of the month.
Yeah, because sometimes we just don't really have the say in this exactly in terms of
we have to work with the marketing channels and publishers and partners to schedule the dates well in advance.
So our hands are kind of tied there in a sense. So in this case, in order to avoid issues for players, we try to make it so that any balance change, as in any changes that can affect the balance of the game, will be rolled out after the tournament. That's why a lot of changes aren't live yet at the moment. So but while some of them are unavoidable because they come with the client, so that's why you see some changes are still in effect, but most of them aren't.
Okay, and with the second part of the question, why the change logs wasn't posted, I think we should fix that. I think we should post that as soon as the patch goes out. Thomas still recovering, as everyone knows, from the recent injury, so he hasn't been in the office physically. It's some of the communications got kind of lost over the
there was
remote
a bit of a
meetings.
misunderstanding with the rollout, so that's why the patch wasn't rolled out.
So I think the changelog should be posted. Thomas currently at the GP getting checked up, so once he's back to work, we'll get this posted out. But thanks for chasing up those, and hopefully that clarifies.
Okay, thank you for answering that. Another question that has been raised quite a bit is some of the changes that are occurring. The update has hit, but some of it is happening after the tourney. Could you explain further why that is occurring?
Yes. Sorry, I think it's similar to the first question. We don't want any gameplay changes like strategy and tactical changes to go live during the tournament or right before the tournament, just to ensure everyone who's active in the tournament competition don't get a surprise on a strategy change. So that's the only reason.
Yeah, because there's quite a number of major changes with this update. So we just didn't want to impact. I mean, I'm sure this is a request from most of the veteran players here as well, like just not to affect the balance, just before tournament or during tournament. So that's what we are trying to avoid.
All right, thank you. Another question, not regarding the update, but regarding cheating in general moving forward and the handling of the last ban wave. A lot of players have submitted further review of certain players regarding whether or not they have cheated in the past, or regarding whether or not they had a prior warning in the past, and why some of them weren't banned. So do you have any statements regarding the handling of that situation? I know Toma has said multiple times that they have completed it, but I just wanted to see or hear, I want the player base to hear from you the status on that situation.
Yeah, well, I think we've also touched base on this during the last Q&A session. Any cheating information that's passed to our team are looked at by our server teams. So that's Hai and Charles looks at each case, and I think in most cases the reports have been accurate. We've banned the players that's been reported. I think we, during the Q&A, we can't name any specific account names for privacy reasons. But yeah, we've investigated everything that's been passed on to us. Many of the accounts that's had previous warnings have been permanently banned. I think Vincent can confirm on this as well. We've been very strict with this round of banning.
I think also we have to keep in mind that because the server devs in Charles and Hai are quite busy as well, so sometimes they may take some time before we get to any of the reports. They are doing their best to try to cover as many as we can. But there are also, of course, also some that may also potentially slip through. But we just have to, just go through them one at a time.
I think we've been very diligent in looking at every case. And we certainly we haven't missed any investigating any cases that's been reported. Everything that's been reported has been looked into, and we've been fairly strict with the banning process.
If there are cases, there may be cases that we find that are not actually legitimate, so that's why they might not be banned in that scenario.
I think I can't give any specific examples, but there's been accounts, even players who've been playing for 7 years, like very old accounts. If they've been found to have serious abuse, they've still been banned. Hasn't been any exceptions there. So first and foremost is the fair play policy.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Another question that we have here is regarding the further balance of factions. So we have super weapons now. I know Vincent has been working hard on balancing the Pirate, Federation, and Qualtarian super weapons. But now the question is the balancing of faction-specific captains. They're currently right now the best captain is the Federation captain, but the Qualtarian and the Pirate captains are still lacking a bit. So the real question is, in the future, are you planning on balancing out those the captains for each faction?
So long story short is yes, there will be some balance actions taken, but the thing is, players need to keep in mind is the captains are currently their stats are set this way due to certain considerations as a whole, as a faction whole, because the captains are part of the faction identity. So we're not just looking at comparing captain to captain stats, we're comparing faction to faction as a whole. So for example, I keep mixing this up, but the captain with the rush command ability currently has slightly lower stats compared to the other captains because of the the perceived advantage of the Rush command currently as an ability. Obviously, the meta may change over time, and that's when we need to relook at it, which is probably what's going to happen moving forward with all the incoming changes.
I think I can add to Vincent's feedback as well. So whenever we balance these stats, there's two parts to the balancing. One is looking like logically at each stat, what it means for that specific character. And another thing is actually looking at our data and seeing the usage and win-loss rates of each character. So I think we haven't done that second part for a little while. We do that regularly across different scenarios and different types of characters, rooms, super weapons. The character one we did do one probably like 10 months ago or something, but we'll need to reanalyze the usage rate, especially at the top tier. So when we are looking at the balance, we're looking at in top tier players, comparing people who use one set of characters to different set. What's the win rates like?
But we're talking specifically about the captain crew here.
Captains, so captains as well, yeah. So there's a lot of things in the tool set we can use to analyze that. For example, for captains, it's optional whether you use them. So the usage is something we can look at as well.
Okay. All right. Next question regarding turning and the balancing of rewards that each div gets. So is that after this update, would that be the next issue that Savvy is planning on pursuing? The rebalancing of rewards and also the rebalancing of the rewards in the Dove store as well.
Yeah, so this is something Thomas specifically looking responsible for. Unfortunately, he's at the doctor's today, so I think we have to ask him that directly in the next one.
Yeah, I mean, the Dove store, we've always been like have a plan to do it. It's just unfortunately we just have, because there's so many things to go that we need our attention on. It's just like really hard to find the time to put into this. But definitely we will look into, like, especially with the Dove store reward, because it's definitely for the lower divisions, it's not really much they can get from the store currently. So basically we try to introduce more low cost, less than low Dove cost items, I guess. They won't be as good as like the 100 Dove ones, but we try to give something that could be useful for lower level players maybe, or the lower division players. And for tournament rewards, I think last we decided we were gonna potentially shift around like maybe more bucks rewards on the lower divisions, but like less Doves, and then we just shift around, because from what we understand from your feedback was that the higher division players, particularly Div A and Div B, don't need as many Starbucks compared to the lower divisions, whereas they need more Doves, or is it the other way around? Anyway, something like that.
It was the other way around, because a lot of the players in Div A are capable of farming legendary PvP a lot better than those ships in Div B, Div C, and D, the lower level divs. So it will be same amount of Starbucks, but probably less Doves, and then shift the Doves down to the lower division.
It's the other way around.
But that's only if you do not want to add in more rewards within the division, within the divisions. You understand what I mean? Because that would just be redistributing the reward.
I mean,
if that's the only option that you're considering, in my opinion, it would be just better to add. But if you don't want to, or you can't add more, then redistributing the rewards would be the next step.
So that may be entirely up to Zin. What we want to do forward.
We don't have any concrete updates on that. I think once Thomas in, I know we said he will be in for this Q&A, but the times didn't align. But I think next Q&A we'll definitely grab Thomas in to answer that. that question. I see that there's a lot of also questions being posted in the chat as well.
Yeah, there's one by Sleepy Boy that I want to get to real quick. It was about the battle pass. You know, I think it was the first 4 seasons, or was it 3 seasons of the battle pass? The emergency upgrade droid was part of the free-to-play, or was free-to-play accessible. So meaning you didn't have to pay for the battle pass to get at least one of the emergency upgrade droids. But after about, I think it was season 5, 6, and afterwards, it did not appear for free-to-play anymore. You actually had to buy the battle pass to get the emergency upgrade droid. So the question they want to know is this going to be added back? Or will there be another way for free-to-play players to get a emergency upgrade droid?
So with each battle pass, we rebalance it on a 2 monthly basis. The most recent battle pass actually had the highest overall rewards for both free-to-play and for paid battle pass players. We've had the steel barriers even included in there. The reason we took the rush robot out is because we look at the amount of the amount that's currently in the economy. It's just way too high. There's people who have stockpiled, you know, hundreds of these. So to make sure Star Captain's falling asleep. But we've reviewed how much are in the economy, and this is too much in the economy at the moment. So once that value drops, I think we'll look at putting that back in the free tier. So this battle pass balance is based on the popularity and how much in demand things are.
Okay.
Hopefully that answers.
So Sleepy Boy actually brought up a good point. Could that possibly be because of the dupe issue? People were duplicating it and duplicated the number of emergency droids?
Yeah, so I mean, we removed all of those, all the droids from the ones that we found that was found to be duplicated. That might change the balance of how much is currently in the economy. So for the next battle pass, we'll have a review of that. I think overall though, when we last looked at it, there was way too much supply. And you know, this isn't something you can sell. So why a player would duplicate that specific item is, you know, it doesn't make as much sense as if they were to duplicate something that could be sold on the market. So we'll see how much impact the duplication had on the upgrade droids.
Okay. Quick, like, not a question but a suggestion. What about thoughts on, you know, how what do you call it, the instant prestige item is kind of, it runs parallel to the instant upgrade droid. Can't you do a system of crafting items that reduce the amount of time that are on a room that's under construction? Something that's maybe not a tree of I can't even say it, but like a series of items. There you go. That help reduce how much time it takes to construct a room. Can't you do something outside the scope of the instant emergency droid?
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I think we can have a look into that. I don't think I can come up with an answer right now, but
I actually completely missed that. Sorry.
I mean, Epix was mentioning the same thing for emergency droid, but for the prestige items.
Right.
No, that's a good point.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. Now let's move on to Pixel Starships 2, because a lot of people have been asking this question related to it. First is there any concrete decision on what not because we already know that we can't transfer accounts from Pixel Starships to Pixel Starships 2.
Mm-hmm.
So would there be any like booster packs for those players that, or longtime players or players of Pixel Starships, the original game, when they decide or if they decide to play Pixel Starships 2, or some type of achievement or pin? I know you already confirmed like a pin or achievement, but like a booster pack of sorts, like to get them started.
That's a great idea. I think we can do something in that. I think in that space. We've already, just to confirm for anyone who missed the last Q&A, currently we've got planned achievement badges from PSS1 to PSS2. So back and forth, there's achievements you can get from PSS1 that's shown in PSS2 and vice versa. We've got guarantee for any IAP purchases. So any Starbucks purchased in PSS1 will have a copied amount in PSS2 on launch. So those are confirmed confirmed features. We've got a Kickstarter Part 3 scheduled for later in the year, where we'll be offering some additional perks. So please keep an eye on that one. And I think this suggestion makes sense. Something that will help original players boost progress. I think that we can throw something in there. Also keep in mind, I think PSS2 is still a bit off in the horizon. Still a lot of work to do, I think, to get it to a go live stage.
I mean, like players need to remember is that PSS2 is a completely different game to PSS1. It's like, I'm not even joking about this. It's like it's really different, like from in many aspects. I mean, the core concept is still similar, but like there's a lot of things that's gonna change, like from mechanics to storyline to ships to crews. You know, like they won't be the same. This is the main reason why we can't transfer a lot of things over from PSS1. Right? So there is a limit to what we can, you know, like provide in terms of like progress, because it doesn't make sense, because they're not the same thing. You know, it's progress in PSS1 is not the same as progress in PSS2 in a sense. You know, I mean, we the only reason, like, I mean, the main reason why we are agreeing to this is because we understand like the players' concerns and frustrations, you know, because of all your efforts and your work, progress in PSS1. You know, like it takes a lot of work, so we understand that you know the players are concerned about that. So yes, So this is our like sort of like a compromise, you know, to help you guys out.
Well, I mean, like Vincent said, PSS2 is a different game, different mechanics. The key thing is to make it fun. Hopefully, we can create some of that unique gameplay like we have in PSS1, but also different enough from PSS1 so they both have their attractive points. We mentioned in the last Q&A, we're gonna emphasize on Q4 this year, so towards the end of the year on PSS1, a lot of user-generated content and customization support for PSS1. So that's kind of going to be a big focus going forward for PSS. PSS2 probably won't have that aspect for at least, that's not scoped in for launch. So there's going to be differences between the two games. But yeah, the primary thing is to keep it fun and competitive. And then if there's anything we can do to help players onboard and progress, that's I think everyone's going to be happy with that.
Okay. Another concern about Pixel Starships 2 is whether or not it's going to be more pay to win than Pixel Starships 1. One of the comments here was that there's no point in playing Pixel Starships 2 if it's still going to have the same type of pay to win mechanics as Pixel Starships, the original. From what I have seen so far, since I have access to the demo, I saw some interesting implementations that you've done for example, PvP. If you win a PvP battle, you have that way of getting extra rewards. So I wanted to give you the chance to expand on some of those free-to-play mechanics that you have in there?
Yeah, thanks for that question. And so both PSS and PSS2 have both. We try not to make it a pay-to-win game. I know a lot of comments are saying this is a pay-to-win game, but I think it's a free-to-play game. There's always going to be that notion that you get benefits from spending, which is true. You do get benefits from spending, but it's not to make it unfairly competitive. For competitive play, you shouldn't need to spend an arm and a leg to be competitive in the game. More of it is planned to be cosmetics and rate of progression, rather than the ultimate level. Even in PSS1, we having mechanics like the prestige, and so these kind of mechanics means if you spend the same amount of time as someone who spends dollar rather than time, it should be a pretty much level playing field. That being said, on PSS2 we are exploring different mechanics of monetization. So I think things like battle pass are going to be more emphasized, and things like just purchasing consumables are probably going to be less emphasized. So we probably not in advanced enough in the production to discuss that progression area yet. We're still kind of looking at the tactical and strategy of the game at this stage. Yeah. So I think we'll have more info on that aspect. I think in 3 to 6 months time. Cool. Awesome.
Okay. There is a question here, but I feel like you already answered it. Yeah, you did answer it. It was from Satin. He said, do you believe more players will play Pixel Starships 2 over Pixel Starships 1? And I believe Zin already answered and said that Pixel Starships 1 and 2 will all have their unique advantages. Oh God, I can't even speak today. And some unique mechanics for each of the games. So you kind of get to pick or have to decide what type of gameplay, game style, and whether you want a 2D or 3D type of feel of a game. So I don't think there'll be more people playing one or the other. I think it'll probably be a fair amount of people, but only time will tell, unless Zen thinks otherwise.
Yeah, thanks Apex. I think thanks for the question. It's very hard to predict how much users we're going to get for one platform or another. Hopefully we grow the user base for both Pixel Starships 1 and for Pixel Starships 2. In the last month or two, we've had a pretty significant increase in the overall user base. I think the last Q&A session lined up with our release on Steam Deck. So that's been very popular. I think especially on the mid to hardcore community, I know visits to like Pixel Prestige, Pixie Ship, some of the third-party sites have almost doubled in the last month. So overall, there's a lot more interest in the game. A lot of media influencers are covering the brand. So I think that's good. Yeah, in terms of the split, it's very hard to say. We've got over 10 million accounts now on Pixel Starships. So, if we get something like 10 million users on Pixel Starships 2, that's going to be amazing. But yeah, there was a high bar set, and we're just going to try our best to meet that high expectation.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Hold on, I almost lost it. Okay, so one of the things that was brought up here and has been brought up repeatedly in the past is bonus rolls, or I should say bonus stats. There we go, on like hero rolls or special tier items. Mm-hmm. So will Pixel Starships 2 still maintain that bonus stat for hero or special tier items?
I think you will. I think that that mechanic we are keeping. Yeah.
Okay.
So there is still that element of randomness.
Yeah, but I think moving forward, I think we're gonna try to do something like where you don't get like double rolls of the same
Oh yeah,
stat.
yeah. So like edge case, I think edge case where it becomes extremely OP, we will have to do something there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then next question from Lena. Will there be a name change for Pixel Starships 2 as to make it more original, or are you gonna stick with Pixel Starships 2?
I think we've stuck with Pixel Starships.
I mean,
2.
what they're referring to is because it's 3D. It doesn't make sense to be
Yeah. I think we're just going with very traditional, nothing too creative, just two.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I think most players find it a bit weird, I guess, that because it's 3D game, but it's not. It's still called Pixel Starships.
Oh well, I mean, we can change it. Currently, the code name is Pixel Starships 2 and the release name is 2. So I think 95% we're just gonna go with the 2. Yeah.
Okay, and here's another one. I know we have discussed this internally or in the chats, the internal chats that we share. But when it comes to the tutorial for Pixel Starships 2, Pixel Starships 1 and 2, for 1 primarily, are there any changes we are to expect to make it more player friendly for those new beginners, or beginner friendly, I should say?
We plan to add additional sections to the tutorial. For example, AI is something we wanted to do for a while, and more the mid-tier tutorial. Pixel Starships 2 tutorial system is different, taken from a lot of the higher end player feedback that when they create a new account, they don't want to have that linear forced tutorial system. So Pixel Starships 2 is taken an open-ended system where you don't have to you don't need to complete the tutorial as per se. You can pick bits and pieces you want to take on. So that's completely different tutorial system between the two games.
Okay. 2 things. Are you going to add a skip button to the tutorial, and also follow-up question? Are you going to improve the Dolores voice because it's really bad?
Oh,
I mean,
Dolores
we've really changed it.
It's the 996.1 and 997 have a new Dolores voice.
That's already been done. Check it out if you haven't.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I guess obviously you have to start a new account to test that, but that's already been rolled out. With Pixel Starships 2, it's more going to be like a mission-based tutorial. So it's a little bit of a different setup, and we'll see which one works better. In terms of a skip button on Pixel Starships 1, we've actually tried doing a skip button, and we A/B tested this. People who press skip, there's going to be players who already got accounts, and having skip would make sense. So maybe we can do something to detect it there.
How are we going to detect it?
But overall, if we're looking at for general player base, it's been quite bad when people press the skip. So pressing skip would mean for most, for the whole population, more chance of people getting lost and stuck. So we took that off. But the function is actually it's in there.
I suppose we could just if they create a new account and we just disable the client, that should work. I suppose we could do that. We can add a skip function just for players creating new accounts. But if you're a fresh user from a fresh login, then you probably won't be able to skip. That would probably be what it is.
Cool. I think just a heads up on time. I think we'll do 5 more minutes, and I think we have to wrap it up there. Yep.
Okay, then I'll leave this. This will be the last question.
So
this has been brought up quite a few times repeatedly, and is when a player starts an account, get to I think it's level 4 that you can build the fleet room. And then when they search for a fleet, it's always the new fleets that are created that appear first. Yes. I know. I feel like it was Kadir or Toma. I feel like it was Kadir that has been talking about it in feedback. I kind of forget what the reasons behind it, But instead of having like the existing fleets or older fleets appear first, what about adding a filter for players so they can filter through the new fleets, like just two filter options, new and old, so they can filter through what are the new ones and what are the old ones, so they can get a sense of some of the good, I wouldn't say good, but more long-standing or older fleets to join who are more established and who are better equipped at helping them.
I think that's a really good idea and quite straightforward to do. We can
because the last time we discussed this, what you said was that you wanted to keep.
I think the default, but I think if they had a filter option, that should be supported.
Okay. Because that was actually suggested.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think like default, I think we should. Well, the reason we show new fleets first to give new fleets a boost to try and get some members, but I think having that option there doesn't hurt. That screen in particular is not super busy, so we can look into that. It's not the top priority, but yeah, that's a good quality of life improvement.
All right,
Cool.
that will do it for questions that I have. And just because we're short on time, I'll leave are there any further updates that you would like to announce or say?
I think I think I mentioned across during the Q&A. We've had a pretty big increase in user base in the last month. Hopefully we keep that up, and there's a lot more content in the pipeline. For Pixel Starships 2, we in case you missed the last Q&A, we pushed it back to September, October, so we have a bit more time to polish the game. But yeah, if you haven't followed the page, please follow it, because we will, once it goes live, we won't be extending that campaign, and we'll be posting some PSS2 gameplay content in that channel. Yeah.
Also, sorry, while we still have a little bit of time, I think there was a question. There was some players specifically asked me outside of this, was that I think like a lot of the players are still not too keen based on the latest demo of the PSS2. It's not pixely enough. Like it doesn't have the same thematic feel of PSS1. So like some people are asking like maybe we should add like a pixelization kind of filter on the 3D models or something like that.
Right.
So
okay.
I think they're keen to know like whether we plan to do anything.
The look and feel. Firstly, we've got a new trailer which I'll post up in the next week or so. So that's got a little bit more insight onto what the game currently looks like. In terms of the overall presentation of the game, it's probably going to change a bit before we do an alpha or beta. Who is the guy behind the pixel? Oh, that's our work experience student. Yeah.
No. That's a new robot that we are. That's going to be a new robot character. He's the actual robot. We made it,
Yes. So this is Rick, our work experience kid. Cool. So I think that's a quick summary. I think any other questions we can go through in our next Q&A and on Discord channel.
Okay,
cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, Apex.
Thank you for taking time out and answering some player-based questions.
Yeah, very happy to. Thanks for joining, everyone.
All right, and thank you, and that concludes it. A good night, morning, afternoon, whatever time zone you live in, and see you in space.